When you play the Game of Thrones,
Subscribe and like.
you die. There is no middle ground.
All right, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Grease Comms YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be continuing on our 25 Days of Winds of Winter. And in today's video, we're going to be doing Christmas Eve special, which is going to be the Hound. Now, I was shocked I did not do the Hound in my first year of doing this. I guess maybe I just figured he was more of a sideline character, as he's had been out of the story for a good amount of time now. Like, yes, this idea of the gravedigger character, which we will kind of discuss. I want to, bring up why I believe that he is still alive, and this gravedigger character that Brienne sees. I know at this point of the community that most people believe that this theory is pretty much solid in stone, and I tend to agree. I think the Hound is obviously still alive, but I do want to, reintroduce it. Maybe people that aren't as familiar with what occurs with the Hound in the book, or maybe, some of the theory on why he is still alive. So the Hound is kind of an interesting character because there is no POV that he's directly, tied to. We saw this character through a number of POVs throughout the story, especially through the first three books, in terms of Sansa and mainly Arya's POVs. But now that the character has kind of gone out of Arya's, point of view, she leaves him in her belief to basically die. Funny enough, the Hound basically asks for mercy from Arya to kill him. It's interesting when you think about the parallels that can still have with the story. I believe Arya will almost have a flip where she will give mercy to her mother, Lady Stoneheart, in this book. It could parallel really well with the decision that she made in book 3 to really let the Hound kind of suffer and be this person that's been completely broken and lost. And so, catching back up into now, Feast for Crows, where we haven't seen the character of the Hound. There's a lot of rumors going on about him in the Salt Pans area and the Riverlands as a whole, but we don't know what the true case is. Now, we as an audience know that the Hound had been traveling with Arya, but he's kind of presumed dead, or he was on death's door. He couldn't have been doing all the actions that's been reported. And so the information, the timeline that is given to us by George is that the Hound is eventually found by the elder brother, who is currently at the Quiet Isles monastery that Brienne runs into, but he apparently finds the Hound and basically helps put him to rest and buries him and puts his helmet above his grave. Well, that doesn't go so well. People recognize the Hound's helmet, they take it, they use it for fear and anger and all of those things, and so his helm has been passed around a couple of times. The last two times we see it, one is with Rarge when he attacks Brienne, and then afterwards, and where it currently is in the story, is with Lemoncloak. Now, it's very interesting that you think about the story that the Brotherhood Without Banners are going on right now. It's a story of them going to being very vengeful and angry and going against everything that they kind of once stood for. And so I really think that the Hound plays into a lot of Arya's storyline, while albeit maybe not being like the main character. And so let's kind of get back to what I think truly happened, right? I don't think the elder brother tells Brienne necessarily everything, right? She says that he basically died there, and that he has basically, been laid to rest, and his sword side and his angry side has been put to rest. But it's interesting that they still have his horse that is named the Stranger. It's this great big black stallion. But at the other part of it, we see this character of the gravedigger. He's very big, intimidating, but we don't see his face, and we can't necessarily recognize him. But when you think about the language that's used for the character of the Hound's death by the elder brother, it seems more that the old Hound is gone. The Hound is dead, but Sandor Clegane lives on. He is somebody that maybe is atoning for his sins, becoming a different person. Very similar to maybe what they tried to do in season 6 with the character, where he was, helping build this. I don't remember exactly what it was in the show. Was it just like a temple or, place of worship or a windmill or whatever they were trying to build? I don't remember exactly, but more or less somewhat of a similar route. The Hound is trying to settle down, become someone, not doing violence and all of those things. And what I think we'll see, kind of similar to the show, because I did kind of like that mini arc that the Hound went on, and I think he was one of the better characters from the beginning to the end of the show in terms of his actual character arc. I don't think this is going to go well. We're hearing about the Riverlands and how it's being basically attacked from all of these different type of factions. Most notably, the Brotherhood Without Banners has become even more violent, and I would say even more arrogant in terms of the way that they're attacking and things like that. You have the Freys in power, all these different factions that are trying to gain power and or keep it. And so the Hound, you have this weird situation where his plotline doesn't really seem to be ended, right? It doesn't make sense for the Hound to die, after Arya leaves him. I could see that being a perfectly fine ending, but I think there's more to discover with the character of the Hound, because as the Hound is trying to, become a different person and restore, a better side of him that has been maybe hidden within him, he's going to have that tested. I believe that the Hound will be basically, through Feast and now Dance and now Into Winds, it's been him trying to convert to a different person. I think those things are going to be put to the test, right? If the Quiet Isle is attacked or this monastery is attacked by, whoever, whether it's the Brotherhood Without Banners, whether it's this group or that, I think what makes a lot of sense, given the fact that Lemoncloak has taken Sandor's helm, I think there will be some sort of resolution to that, of the Hound finally destroying this helmet that has only represented pain, anger, and misery, and that's continuing to spread. It's almost this signification of what the Brotherhood Without Banners has become, that even somebody like Lem, who once maybe fought for better reasons, is taking on this helmet that is only inspiring fear and all of those things. So I think the Hound is most definitely tied to the Stoneheart plotline most specifically. I think we will see the Hound either one get captured by the Brotherhood Without Banners when he's maybe looking for some retaliation. Again, very similar to the show. I think a lot of what the show did with the post A Storm of Swords Hound arc, at least early on, right? He's not in season 5 at all. He comes back in season 6. Made a lot of sense, right? Have what, he's been doing put to the test, have him wanting retribution, having all of these violent and vengeful tendencies put to the test, and having somebody like Arya, who by the end of this could help him fulfill that whole character arc that she's going on as well. I think putting those two characters back together after they've been apart for so long and they've learned new lessons and they become, at least in a sense, better people, or trying to become better people of the experiences that they've gone through, I think it makes sense that the Hound would be the person to kind of help Arya take down or defeat this side of the Brotherhood Without Banners that has become vengeful and just not the people that they were before Stoneheart took over leadership from Beric Dondarrion. I could see the Hound in a lot of ways almost being integrated into the Brotherhood Without Banners. Now, the reason I don't think it'll be exactly like the show is because if the Hound was to be captured by Lady Stoneheart doesn't like the Lannisters. She doesn't like the Hound. She'd have no reason to, give any sympathy to the Hound, especially when you think about characters like Brienne, of course. So if the Hound was to be captured by the Brotherhood Without Banners, it would be probably him being imprisoned once again and having to basically do another trial by combat type situation. And this is a scenario where he could fight Lemoncloak. Boy, that's a name to say, by the way. It would be a perfect scenario where that could actually happen. You think about some of the warriors within the Brotherhood Without Banners. There's not a lot of notable, great warriors. Like Beric Dondarrion was kind of that figurehead, and he put up a pretty good fight with the Hound. I think personally the Hound would go straight through Lem, but that could be something that could also maybe factor into these things, right? Lem is maybe somebody that, in the past wouldn't have ever have tried to duel the Hound one-on-one, but because of gaining this helmet, he has this maybe newfound arrogance and violence to him. I think that could be a really interesting, arc where by the end of it, the Hound, maybe he wins this trial by combat. Maybe it's because Arya influences, the Brotherhood Without Banners after Lady Stoneheart is gone to, release him and all that. I think for me personally, the Hound is more destined to helping Arya and the North than what other people have maybe thought about, of him going south to try and do some trial by combat with his brother. And yes, there is some unresolved things there, but I don't think this is the time that we'll see them. I think the time where we would see some sort of Mountain and the Hound face off will be towards the very end of the story with the downfall of Cersei. That seems the most logical point for me, not in this period right before Young Griff takes the castle. I just don't think we have all the moving parts for that to make a lot of sense, in my opinion. Now, maybe some of the religious people that are going around, again, the country as religion is starting to take over again, could find the Hound, and maybe they would champion him against the Mountain, given his newfound, I guess, therapy or better side of himself under the tutelage of somebody like the Elder Brother. Maybe the elder brother vouches for the Hound. There's a lot of possibilities that George could go with this character because we haven't seen him for so long, so it's hard to kind of predict where we think the character's going to go. But I think given all of the themes that the Hound currently has, the things that are the most vital to the character of the Hound, it makes the most sense for him to be very tightly linked with Arya and the Brotherhood without Banner's plotlines. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on these ideas. I think that to me is just the normal part of where this character's going to go. If you guys think he's going to do something else, do you guys think the Hound is going to go south to King's Landing, maybe to confront his brother? Do you think, he's going to be, put in some different situation than I talked about? Do you even think maybe he's even dead? I don't know how many people in the community really believe that, but I guess there probably is some people. And I don't fault you if you don't think he died, if you do think he died, given all the injuries he had, and they were being infected as well. So it does make sense if he did die, but that is my overall thoughts on the Hound. So we'll be wrapping up the last day of the event on Christmas. Also, if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays for whatever, you do around this time. But we will be doing our last video on Christmas, which will be a pretty big one. We're going to be talking about basically the wall plot line in terms of, characters like Mel, Shireen, Celise, Patchface. And it's really going to be about kind of uncovering what's going to happen with Shireen being burned. We know that's going to occur. How does the early stages of the book kind of shape up for the wall? A lot of that's going to be the focus for tomorrow's video. So I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.